different now, but your health remains a priority. With the Massachusetts Health Connector, you can stay happy and healthy. Whether you're employed or have recently lost your job, you have options to stay insured. Visit mahealthconnector.org to compare health insurance plans and choose the one that's right for you and your family. Open enrollment ends on January 23rd. Visit mahealthconnector.org or call 1-877-MA-ENROLL. That's 1-877-MA-ENROLL.
The People Station.
What is that?
Spark FM.
Hey, good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Tayla Andre. Waking up with Tayla Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day we link up, but about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. Today is the day that the Lord hath made. We get to talk to Tito Jackson and two topics that I never thought that we would be discussing with Tito Jackson. And owning a dispensary. Good rising. How are you, my love? It's been a long time.
It has been a long time. It is great to see you. I hope things are going well. And all of that good stuff. And I'm just very happy to be seen after a challenging but really grateful year. Early this year, I had COVID in March. And it just really made me really refocus on what we need to do as a community and what I need to be doing individually and being in terms of intentionality. So I'm just very, very happy and blessed to be here.
Mm-hmm. And what does that look like?
So one, we got to take care of each other. So importantly, what has been seen, regardless of how much money you have, regardless of how many houses you have, we are interconnected, right? And so what we do, and so when it comes to healthcare, we are just as safe as the person who has the least amount of healthcare. The person who is least well, and we are about to head in, and you're in the real estate industry. We are headed towards a housing crisis. There are many folks who are very far behind in their payment. So we have a lot of work that we need to do. And for me, it's really been making sure that I physically am well, get my little workout back on, and making sure that I'm taking my vitamins and all that other good stuff post that. And then also just making sure that my business is beginning to move in a direction that we want it to move. So I'm really excited about the opportunity to speak with you. And in fact, it's actually even better to speak with you this week than it would have been last week because we have late breaking and really great news that occurred last week.
Okay, so let's rewind a little bit, right? So City Councilor Tito Jackson is no longer City Councilor Tito Jackson. What happened? What brought us here? So bring us down that path.
Well, so understand, as a city councilor, I always fought for folks around these issues of the failed war on drugs. In 2016, I had the opportunity to step up and actually become the first elected official in the state of Massachusetts to back the legalization of adult use cannabis. And why did I do that? Did I do it because I like to smoke this fat spliff? So that's how I like to do it. That actually was not the case. The reason why I stepped forward on that issue is folks like Tito, Chanel Lindsay came to me and they showed me really just stark data. So understand, in the state of Massachusetts in 2008, having an ounce or less on you was supposed to be a ticket, like a parking ticket, like a ticket if you don't cut your grass. So it was supposed to be non-criminal. But in the state of Massachusetts, you had a 300% higher chance of being arrested for possession from 2008 to 2014. That 300% higher chance was not because if you're a woman, not because if you're just a human, it's because if you were Black. Right, that you had a 300% higher chance. In that same time frame, you had a 700% higher chance of being arrested for distribution. I know Black people don't smoke all the weed, and I know we don't sell all of the weed. And there's a disproportionality that says that racist systems, things like, and people need to think about this, when we had school zone prosecutions, right? If you live in Boston, because it was that the school zone meant schools, churches, parks. I live in Roxbury. I don't know if there is a place. Maybe I don't know. Well, yeah, I don't know if there is a place.
Because there's nowhere in Boston that you are
Right.
not in 100-foot radius of a school, church,
Yep.
or park.
But let's go to the Berkshires in Massachusetts. Let's go to Western Mass. And one, look at the population, but two, there's not a school everywhere. It's probably school every 10 miles. And so what we had were laws that disproportionately affected Black folk in the neighborhood that we live in. And so I stepped forward to back question number 4, which was the legalization, taxation, and regulation of adult use cannabis. And so in doing that, it gave me an opportunity to get some understanding of the industry. Obviously, in 2017, I ran for mayor, and a lot of the work that I was talking about at that time it's interesting. Now it's being socialized regularly. But hey, this statistic around the systemic racism that has led to the gap in wealth in the city of Boston, with white families being worth $247,500 and Black families being worth $8. By the way, I actually spoke at the Federal Reserve Bank, and I spoke to the person who ran, because by the way, that's not my stat, that's the Boston Federal Reserve Bank. I gave this rousing speech. It was like one of those great speeches that you give for Black History Month. It was great. Tayla, I rocked it. So this dude asked, hey, how do you fix it? I said, well, we can do education and economic development. We could start small businesses and blah, blah, blah. So at the end of the meeting, the guy comes up to me, and I can't call his name right now, but he says, I set you up because I'm the one who ran that story. Your answer is absolutely wrong. And so I'm like, Taylor, I'm like, no, I'm thinking he said, the gap is based on slavery. The gap is based on Black farmers not receiving the aid from the federal government in the early 1900s. And the gap is also pronounced because after Black soldiers came back from World War II, they did not receive the GI Bill. What is the GI Bill? The GI Bill is what built the suburbs. So that meant that these white soldiers were able to go purchase a home, and your grandparents or great-grandparents were able to deal with, well, I can't even deal with, you deal with this on a regular basis, and so you have these words, but they were able to benefit from the equity that was able to go up in their homes. And then most of the wealth gets passed on from a generational perspective because people either sell their homes or they pass it on. All of that said, the reason that I actually ended up in the cannabis industry is it's my intention to close that gap. And by the way, close that gap, and being an elected official doesn't mean you make a lot of money. Because by the way, all of y'all can go and look to see how much all of your elected officials make. By the way, that's public information for every single person. And so I want to do that for my family, but also the company that I've started in our goals for our community benefit agreements. It's also to do it for the people who live in our community by paying them a decent wage, starting at $16 an hour. Most of our employees will make $20 an hour. By having a first, last, and security fund where our employees, if they're going to move, it's about 10 grand in the city of Boston to move. So it's absolutely critical that you have the dough to actually be able to move after you're doing a little bit better. So we work with them on that. We have a 401k with matching, which will allow people to begin to plan for their future. Financial literacy program, and actually, Taylor, this probably might be something that we could do around home purchasing together on this. And so the company that I took over is called Verdant Medical, and we are a vertically integrated cannabis company and what is vertical?
Yeah, thank you.
I was about to. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for stepping on the host toes because I'm used to brothers use it's this Corona thing. And brothers used to talking to myself, so I'm like I'm stating questions and asking. I'm sorry about that, Taylor. I probably. I'm over here like, okay, cool. So Tito, you have friends now. You have friends.
Yo, you know what? Sorry, I asked the other day. She was like, "Mom, can we call Tito?" I was like, "Yo, you can't just call the grown man. You can't."
Okay. Well, I love you. Your kids must be so big now. They must be tall. Both of them must be taller than me. But so a little bit about the industry. So understand the cannabis industry a month and a half ago in the state of Massachusetts crossed over the $1 billion mark. So by the way, this as a marketplace, right? So this ain't cute. This is not a little cute little industry that's it's just emerging. So first off, the cannabis industry is not new. I will not be the first person to sell cannabis in marijuana or marijuana in Mattapan Square. Right. So the piece here is it's now regulated, and so people have an opportunity to participate. The question.
So I have participation questions. So what does that look like if I'm a baker, right?
Yep.
And I live in a neighborhood, I live down a street, and I can make it. Where's partnership for that? What if I have the oil or I grew it? Like, what does all of this look like as far as like neighborhood is concerned, and not having to go out somewhere else to get everything?
Yeah. So this is so let me be. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. The barrier to entry in this industry is substantial, because when we now this is this kind of the same thing as if you can cook at your crib versus selling plates out of your house versus actually having a restaurant, right? So your relationship with the city or state greatly changes when you have a restaurant. You need serve safe, you need insurance, you you can't go buy your liquor at Liquorland and then bring it to your spot. You're not allowed to do that. And so the barrier to entry goes up on is lower at the delivery side. So they're brand spanking new delivery licenses that just got approved last week. Now let's delve into delivery, and then we'll go up the kind of food chain. So delivery, which by the way, in the marketplace that existed before this was legal, everybody delivered it, right? So that's not like going to dispensary or whatever. The players come through. I'm home 6:30. Okay, cool. So that's what was happening. So on a legal front, you need to get a license, right? So how you get a license in Boston is first thing you go to the Boston Cannabis Board. We have a little cannabis board now. So you go there, you put in an application. But the second thing, I'm sorry, let's back up. Before you even put an application, you need to identify a location. And in this case, for a delivery company, you would need probably a garage, right? You'd probably need a garage. The rules in Boston are that a cannabis establishment has to be at least 500 feet from a school, and it has to be 0.5 miles, half a mile from another cannabis establishment. You are actually allowed to petition for it to be closer because Boston's so small. There's no way that we would get the 52 licenses in there. But on the delivery front, you get a garage. You now have to set up a deal with that landlord that you're going to be able to hold that property while you go through the licensing. Typically, that landlord is going to want some money on a monthly basis for you to hold it.
Okay, so and this is a barrier. So I want to know, how are we fixing this barrier?
Well, so let me. I haven't finished putting up the fence yet. So let me. The fence has not been fully erected. So
I have an idea.
okay, cool. Right. So the fence is not, and so you have to get this location. So typically, what you do is you sign, and you've done this, Taylor. You sign an LOI, which is a letter of intent, and that letter of intent has some consideration, which is the money, and it says, hey, you know what? Once we get, in your case, when you're doing real estate, once you get the permitting. Say I want my house is a 1-family, want to make it a 4-family. Once we get the permitting, then we would execute the lease or sale, right? So that's what we would do in this case. So you set it up, say we have 6 months, we're going to pay you $2,500 a month to go through this permitting process. You then go back to the city of Boston, you go to zoning, and you put in a zoning, put in for a special permit. But then you have to wait for it to get rejected. So that's just how stuff works. So you have to wait for it to get rejected. Once it is then rejected, you are then able to do a community meeting where you can hear directly from neighbors, community members, community associations, and the like. And then if you have support, you would then go to the city councilor, the district city councilor in that neighborhood, and ask them to write you a letter of support or a letter of non-opposition. I don't think you would ask them to write you a letter of opposition. That'd be a little weird. But of those two. And then once that happens, then you are able to go before the Boston Cannabis Board. So there's a lot there. There's a lot there. But
if I start today, how long is that going to take me?
Hey, I'm not going to lie to you. We've known each other too long. I can't tell you exact. So there's folks I've been in this mix for my, the Mattapan location for me. It took 2.5 years with monthly payments.
What?
So that
hold that space, right?
Yeah.
Were you able to sublease it since you weren't really using it? I'm all whispering like they can't.
No, I wasn't. And the thing is, for the landowner, hey, it's and the one other piece I do want to note, Taylor, is when you're in cannabis, I kind of analogize it to like being in having I haven't been married, but if you plan a wedding versus planning a party, you call like, yo, I want to do a party, whatever. This is the price. You say I'm in love and I want to plan a wedding, the price just goes up. So people assume. So one of the things that you should also know, there is cannabis inflation.
So I just want to let everybody know who says that my mic is low. My mic is not low. I'm just muted because I didn't want Tito to hear echo. So I'm commentary. Y'all already know me. I'll be up in the background commentary.
Yeah. No, that's what's up. So all of that said, in the delivery license, there are 2 separate delivery licenses. And I want to give props to the Mass Cannabis Delivery Association. And these young people, cat named Devin, cat named Chris, started this organization. So initially, they just wanted to have a license that was like an Uber Eats license. Right? It's a courier license. You could only you have to partner with a dispensary. You could only partner with those dispensaries and go pick up their stuff and drop it off at Taylor's house, right? Not only Taylor's house, but you could pick it up, dispensary, drop it off at somebody's house. These young folks, and this is...
Hold on, really quick question. So you can't have more than one partnership. It can only be with one dispensary?
No, you could have multiple dispensaries, right?
Okay.
But you could only... This initial license was only attached to a dispensary. So like I said, it's a Uber Eats. So it's an Uber Eats model, DoorDash model, where you go pick it up from that pickup order and then drop it off. That model is actually not economically sustainable. Right. First off, we got traffic in Boston, even with COVID. So there's only going to be a certain amount. And then the other piece is, how much are you going to pay for people to deliver your product? Especially because you're competing against folks who do not charge you for the delivery fee when they text you or IG you, right? So the second piece, and this I give props to young folks who are out here organizing, who are able to make a change, they came up with a new delivery model, which is called delivery with wholesale. So delivery with wholesale means you can have that garage, you can buy wholesale product on your own, and then mark it up to retail so you make that profit and then charge a little bit for delivery. So that's a sustainable model. And I'll give you some numbers. It's about $4,000 a pound on wholesale side, and you can flip that into $7,000 or $8,000 a pound on the retail side. That makes for a sustainable business.
We just created the legal way to be a dope boy. It's the legal way, Tito.
Hey,
There's a real way
exactly.
now.
And I'll be damned if it's only rich white guys in suits who are the ones who are owning, operating, and being able to profit from these companies, while our folks, who, by the way, created the business model for the whole thing, sit and rot in jail. I'll be damned. And that's actually one of the things that we also do is we hold 20% of our seats for people who are previously incarcerated or who have a Corey. So that's the delivery side of things. So I would submit to you that delivery side would be $250,000 to $500,000 to start. Probably it might be higher, but it will be a lower level. A dispensary, you got to go through all that same stuff about finding a location, holding a location, and figuring out where it is. A dispensary is probably going to cost you between $1 million to $1.5 million to start a dispensary. And a grow facility, meaning a cultivation facility where you actually grow cannabis, will likely cost you about $300 a square foot. So if you want to think about, I have a license for 100,000 square feet. So $300 a square foot would be $30 million to build out the whole grow. Now, we ain't doing that the first day. So, don't, that's not, Tayla didn't give me her checkbook. So we'll build a portion of that and continue to build up. The one other area that's actually, to your point, Taylor, is a good area, which is marijuana infused products. We call them MIPS, which you call them edibles, baked goods, tinctures, which are droplets you put under your tongue. There are transdermal patches, kind of like a Nicorette patch, where you could take it. Gummies and the whole like. That's another business. You don't need pretty space for that. So once getting into a manufacturing side of things, that could actually be done for the same kind of level that you're looking at for delivery. But our issue, to your point, is the cap, that $8. It's a lot of $8 to get to $500,000 or to $1 million.
And that's only for the transportation portion of it, and not owning your own business, where a lot of people do have aspirations of having their own dispensary, doing things their own way.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what's the blueprint? Since you were in the game for 2 years, you wrote this down, right? We got a blueprint?
Yeah. So, what I would say to you is simply this. One, it's to get an amazing team around you, right? Because you can't do it on your own. Two, to put together a bomb business plan to get it done. And three, it's critical that you get financial partners, which I would say to you has been one of the hardest parts. Are people who don't want to take your whole business. Right. So the piece also that occurs is many of the people that you deal with, you have to get, and I made mistakes in this space. You have to get financial partners who see your vision and who really want to work with you over the course of time. And I understand getting into business with somebody I've never been married. I'm not advertising I'm single or anything like that, but I've never been married. But it is easier to get out of a marriage than it is to get out of a partnership with somebody in business. It's legit from a legal perspective, easier to get a divorce. So you have to be very thoughtful about who the person is, but also who they're gonna be, right? And so there's a quote from Maya Angelou that I love. It says, when people tell you about themselves, believe them the first time. Maya's screaming at all of us around these issues. That said, Black people, one, can collectively get together, because we may not have 500, but 50 of us can have 10,000. Right. So those are when we think about collective work and responsibility, but cooperative economics, we can be thinking about it from that perspective. Also, there are people who are in real estate, Taylor, who have capacity on the real estate side, right? And you might have capacity on the operations side. And there might be somebody who has capacity around the financial fundraising side. So, putting together teams that are actually going to get you to that. And by the way, none of it's easy. There's no plug and play, and there's no direct path to kind of skipping through things without going through the steps. Once you get through the city side, you then have to go to the state side and get a quote unquote provisional license. And then from your provisional license, you have to work all the way up through provisional licensure, architectural review, and the like. So it is a year yes, ma'am.
So the way you're set up, you know how laws work. Can you please make this a simpler process?
So
can you please sit down with state officials, with city officials? Can we please make this easier first? Second of all, can we please have some funding from the state and the city to set aside so we can have everybody who ever been locked up be the first people that have the opportunity to own one first. Second, anybody who's ever I really want it to be provisional for on a state level.
no, I
I'm
got
being so arrogant right now because on a state level, for every single Negro that ever been locked up, I want all of them to have the first opportunity before Bob, Dick, and Harry get any money from the state, any money from anywhere, and it's subsidies involved, and there's it's big money. Yo, I'm mad, Tito, but
yeah. Well, no. Yeah. Now I can be a little. Last time you saw me, all my hair was black, right? So now I got the little. You got a little. I look like somebody's sexy uncle now, but but so Taylor, I agree with you. So a couple pieces. There is precedent for states like Illinois. They took $30 million and put it into the equity program for exactly what you're talking about, and they took $30 million before they open up the recreational licenses. So if you're making understand, if $1 billion was sold, the state gets 20% of that. So that's a pool of about $200 million that's come in. So the question, as you're noting, is where do those funds? So this is working with our
acres and a mule at. Where my GI Bill at?
I'm right there with you, right? So there's that piece. So and then let's give props to the city of Boston, city council president, city council president Kim Janey wrote legislation that actually said, with the 52 licenses that are going out in the city of Boston, and I actually have to give props to the mayor who also promoted this and signed this into law. 26 of those licenses have to go to equity candidates. So 26 go to the white guys, and 26 have to go to us. So I do have to now, mind you, that's Boston, and I give props. And understand, by the way, that $1 billion was made with only one store in Boston. By the way, right? So this tells you a little bit about how big this damn industry is, because only one store was open in Boston, in that billion, you can imagine what's going to happen once stuff opens actually in the city of Boston. So there are ways, and I give again props to yeah, she's not my predecessor. The person who took over for District 7, Kim, as well as the mayor for doing this. And I would say to you, after waiting for that period of time, the current system in Boston, and I want people to participate, is moving very quickly. It's a very, I think, a very forward-moving process, a smart process, and it's actually allowing people to move forward. Now, that's after a long time, right? So it took a little while for people to get it together. The flip side of that is, like you're saying, Taylor, every month that you wait, I got to write a check every month to hold any one of the sites that I have. If you got people on staff, you got to write it. People don't work for free and the like. So there's a lot of money involved in it. The flip side of it is that you have a process in the state of Massachusetts where 1 pound of marijuana to grow costs about $1,000. That 1 pound of marijuana after it's grown gets sold to the wholesale market for $4,000 to $4,500, and that gets sold to the consumer for between $7,000 and $8,500. So the profit margin, and then imagine this, Taylor, you grow it and you sell your own stuff. So one of the things here is this barrier to entry is on purpose for those people who have the most. Those individuals who've wanted to, who the initial medical licenses, and I'm glad they changed, but excuse me. Give me one sec. Excuse me. The initial, thank you. The initial medical licenses cost, they were $500. You had to have $500,000 in escrow, and you do escrow accounts. $500,000 that just sit there that you can't touch. And so the barriers to entry are high, but I would submit to you that we have to get together and work through this because we must be part of this. This is the industry of the future. And
let me ask you a question. Have there been any efforts to have conversation with Black car dealerships in the neighborhood or Black body shops? Because you just need to have like your car at a garage type situation.
No, I love you, but it's not that easy.
Hey, I'm trying to see the workaround.
First off, the issue is so what I would submit in the delivery model, the best thing that you could be participating in is the delivery with wholesale, which is essentially you get to set up an online dispensary. So you basically have a dispensary that no one's ever going to go to. They'll log on to, Tito's Weed on Wheels. By the way, you're not allowed to call it that, but I'm just pulling stuff out. And so you log on and you say you want an eighth, a sour diesel. You want some.
Okay, so I can sell weed. Can I sell edibles on my?
Yes.
Who's asking me where these edibles come? I have to go through the process.
Oh, whoa. Okay. You can't sell Roman Rome from down the streets edibles. You're not allowed to do. Okay. So that's the other the other piece here is in the Cannabis Control Commission has a very, very strong regulatory environment around where stuff comes from. And the reason why they do is because, by the way, people can get sick if there's mold or mildew in the product. So what they do is there's something called seed to sale tracking. So Taylor, they track it from a seed in the ground. It gets 8 inches. They got to stick a RFID tag on that. So the process is there's babies. Then they grow a little taller than in another room, and then they flower, right? So there's all of that is tracked, and so understand they track it. There's a healthcare reason for it, but also the state wants their money, right? So they don't want Taylor selling 4,000 pounds of legal weed and then 1,000 pounds of illegal weed, and they're not going to get their money. So they're going to track everything that goes in, and there's a centralized repository of this information. That's called the system is called Metrics. And so metric is everything. It's the list of everything for everybody that goes in there and where they get it from, and then that is tracked all the way from it being grown till it gets. Till when it walks out the door. So you can't parlay it. Now, mind you, this is the thing. There are opportunities to work in these facilities, to be in a manufacturing facility if you're great at baking. There's opportunities to be part of these facilities if you're great at cultivating, customer service, all of that stuff. There's opportunities. But what I would say is we're not allowed to take what Tayla grew in her basement, that gas that she grew in her basement, and put it in the dispensary. We're not allowed to do that.
Okay, so on topic, off topic. What about CBDs? How does that play a role?
CBD, when they passed the Farm Bill in 17, it's legal. You can buy CBD in CVS right now. So it is not, and so this is the funny part about this is, right? So that's hemp derived CBD. This is just silly to me, but CBD, technical definition, is basically marijuana that has less than 0.3% THC. So it's the same plant, but it has less than 0.3% THC, and is a high CBD side. So what I would say to you is there are endless opportunities in the CBD space. It's legal. Very, very high in terms of the upside in CBD. It's expensive. My mom uses a CBD lotion, and it's like $80 for the lotion that she uses. And I would also say you get some analgesia, but you don't get the high on that front. So on the CBD front, hemp derived CBD side, endless opportunities. And to those people who want to bake and they want to, have it in a store or the like, that's absolutely in play. But you're not limited. You can have it in a regular corner store rather than having to deal with, the regulatory environment of a dispensary or a delivery space. So it is. And I guess I just want to punctuate something. Our people were brought here to grow a cash crop called cotton. And that is the cash crop of our enslavement. And I would submit to you that the cash crop of our freedom, our economic and generational wealth building freedom is the cash crop of cannabis, as well as of CBD or hemp. And I interestingly, when I took over office from Chuck Turner, he wrote me an email. And by the way, people forget Chuck Turner went to Harvard, right? So the brother is like an amazing writer. He wrote me an email, and the last thing that he said to me in the email was that I needed to be working on building into the hemp industry at that time, because it is an industry that can create jobs and build wealth for Black people. This was in 2011, so nearly 10 years ago, that Chuck wrote that to me, and God rest his soul, but he was prophetic in that regard.
Ashe. Shout out to Chuck. Thank you, boo. So there's a question, because we're coming to the top of the hour. Somebody wants to know what happened to Ladaro.
Whoa. Okay. This is this. So they're asking what happened to. I think I saw Ladaro at one of the Black Lives Matter components. The brother was friend of mine. Used to live in my crib. We gave him an opportunity, and he ended up moving. And last time I saw him was this summer.
I don't know.
Okay,
I didn't, that was random. It was random.
Yeah. Okay.
VOG said, I've been preaching for 20 years. Our people are only concerned with being consumers, sadly. I don't think that's true of all people. Shout out Isabella, good rising. What's going on? And so for those who do not know, because we've been talking for a while, we didn't even like reintroduce ourselves.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hour.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. Yes.
No, I'm trying to, which is a real thing considering, well, I personally know like these are things that you have been fighting for, but people
Yeah.
that weren't really paying attention think
Yeah.
that this is brand new. So I just want to be clear. This is not new and you ain't new to this. I would really like to see your efforts because you understand the system. You have a leg up from the rest of us. Please help us in like sitting down and actually being at the forefront and changing the system because you already know City Hall didn't work.
So I guess my question back to you, Taylor, is, are people interested in some type of instruction classes or something like that could help them? We could have that conversation. To VOG, and shout out to VOG, and he has been preaching that for a long time, around. We have to be a people who have an industry. Right. So let's other ethnic groups have industries essentially that they're known for. Right.
And we had the industry.
We had this industry, and
before it was legal.
So my thing is, so the industry that we did have, now that it's legal, it can't be that. Understand, and Kobe and Kevin were the first, in so understand that they were the first to open a dispensary on the East Coast, like not only Boston, but literally the first Black folk to do that. My man Shayun Adeji just opened a dispensary out in Athol, Massachusetts. So we got another brother there. So we have a couple of folks who are in the mix. But it's going to be critical, one, that we support them, but two, that we continue to increase our footprint, because 3 folks out of nearly 100 dispensaries that are open, that don't cut it. That doesn't cut it.
And we know why. 500,000 for transportation, a milli plus for a dispensary. That's a real issue that I hope as a nation we start to have that conversation regarding reparations. But I don't know. That's
well, no. Let's hit that right there. I'm sorry, and I think I might not have said that when I talked about the Federal Reserve, because I think I didn't finish that story. The person at the Federal Reserve Bank said that we needed reparations. The only way to close the gap of $8 to $247,500, the only way to close it is reparations. We can work our butts off. We can start businesses. We can go to school. We can get PhDs. We can do all that. The only way to close that gap is reparations, because, as you know, the net present value of money right now, even if they gave us 40 acres and a mule right now, the net present value is different than what it would have been back in 1865 when we were supposed to get it.
Tito Jackson. I miss you, Tito. It's been a while since I've seen you.
I miss you. Yeah, don't make a brother get. It's before 12 o'clock. Don't make a brother cry. Brother. But I miss you too, and I thank you for being consistent and being the voice of the community, and Vox Populi, the voice of the people, and continuing to give people a platform to have their voice heard. And we gotta. And by the way, it's not about the people who are in power. It's about the power of the people. As you can see in these past elections, but look at Julia Mejia's election. She won by 1 vote. Citywide, out of like 26,000 votes, she won by uno. When you're playing Uno, you got 1 card, Uno. 1 vote, right? So your vote does matter, and understand, in the states that they're participating in voter suppression, you only try to suppress stuff that's valuable, right? So your voice now, and in all future elections, all future debates, all future community meetings, because that's the other piece too, Taylor. You can't say you don't know, you can't show up at the community meeting because it's online now. The whole meeting's on Zoom, right? So you can't say I couldn't get there. Well, you don't have to get there. Pay your internet bill, and you're able to be there. So we have an opportunity now, and a crisis is a terrible thing to waste. There are many things that are happening right now, and we need to be thoughtful and woke, awakened enough to participate in what's going on in our neighborhoods, in our communities, and around us.
Who is doing hard money lending? So who's engaged in hard money lending for those that need access to funding, and what business credit would you?
So you know what? I actually am having some initial conversations in that space. So I can't give you names or like bona fide folks now. I will let you know how that goes. The other piece is that we could also get together and form our own funds. And to your point around hard money lending, and so for those who don't know what hard money lending is that in particular in real estate, but also in our space, there are individuals who are private lenders. They're able to set up their own terms, and they're generally much higher, but they don't go. They generally, Taylor, correct me if I'm wrong. Generally, hard money lending doesn't go on your credit. It's actually based on the equity or value of the home. In that regard, but or the business. So hypothetically, there was $100,000 house, and you were able to get it for $50,000. Typically, these folks would do what they refer to as 70% LTV, which is loan to value. So in that $50,000, you got a $100,000 home, you get it for 50. So that's lower than that 50% loan to value, and they would loan it based on the fact that, from a risk perspective, that if you messed it up, even if you screwed up the whole deal, they could take the home back and they still would have equity, and equity meaning value in that home. So I think there's definitely something to be said about that. And tell my man Mike I said what's up.
Thank you, Tito. We've come all the way to the top. Tito, I want to say thank you because a lot of people don't know that because of you, October 22nd is Tayla Andre Day. Because of Tito.
That's, the thing is, the thing I loved most about the council was our ability to help people and to shine light on amazing people in our community. And we are not at a deficit in that regard. And it is critical that we also, and this is the other piece, and you're in business, Taylor, it's critical that we support Black businesses. And the failure in Black businesses is usually because hookups, handouts, and freebies. You don't ask white folks for that level of discount, but when it comes to us, Taylor's first doing her first couple of deals or whatever, and she's going to get however many points on the deal, and you want her to shave off 1.5 points on the deal when nobody else is going to do that. We need to support and value each other's business acumen, their time, and what they've put into it. Because remember, we don't have 5 generations of this. We're playing catch up when it comes to this. And by the way, but the flip side of that is, I would also say, let's make sure as Black folks in business that we do right, that we follow through, that we finish our jobs, and that we don't shortchange folk. Because we know, Taylor, that bad news travels twice as fast as good news. And then there are all kinds of expectations of subpar components when it comes to us. That's not the truth. But I want to make sure, as someone who's down in business, that we are doing right by the folks who are out there. And again, thank you, Taylor. I'd love to come back. Can we do a little cannabis corner? And pass the mic to the right.
Actually, can we and talk about different strands and talk about like their properties and
Yeah.
can we?
We can do that.
Mm.
Yes. So I'm still I'm in some of this is I'm in the R&D phase. And some no because I wasn't in R&D when I was in on the council, so there's a great deal of stuff I'm learning. But I think the other piece is we could also bring on some experts in this space. Some of the growers that we know. There's a brother who has a strain. His brother's name, his company's name is dope. It's called Just Incredible. That's fire, and he grows fire. So let's get that brother on here. Next go around, I want to try to get that brother on. He's a grower, amazing young brother. I think the dude's under 30, and he's the only black person who has a grow in the state of Massachusetts. So can I get that brother on, and we can do a session.
I'll send you the link, and whenever he's available, absolutely, let's do that. What was the other question I had for you? Oh, can you keep us updated, keep us posted? Maybe not right now or today, but whenever there's jobs in the industry or jobs with your company, any type of contact information, like how do we reach you and so you can teach us?
Yep. So I'll get you that info. And yeah, so to understand, my objective is to have 20% of our jobs held for people who have a Corey. I want 50% of our folks to be us. And also 50% of the folks, I'm really looking for folks in my Mattapan store. I want Mattapan folks, right? They have a relationship with the community. They're going to be able to walk if it snows, and they're going to take care of folks in the community. So really excited about that. We have committed to doing 3 job fairs, and I would love to come back on there on here. We're going to do 3 job fairs before we open, and we're also going to be doing 4 expungement events every year in order to make sure that people are able to seal their records. And I believe in the state of Massachusetts, we should take off every single person who has a marijuana charge or conviction, and I don't care how much it was. You get a one-time get out of jail free card. If you had 1,000 tons of it, I don't even know. Okay, that's probably another number. But if you had that much,
but Tito, if we're only taking one of those off, there's
no.
people like 2 and 3.
I'm talking about all of them. Because the problem is this: while we're making money, and I'm being prophetic on that right now. But while we're making money, these folks are still being harmed, not able to get a job, not able to get federal subsidized housing, can't live in a Section 8 home or any of the Boston Housing Authority homes, and they're having a tough time. That's unfair.
FAFSA.
Yeah, exactly. Education and the like. So that all of those things are critical. The opportunity is here before us. We have to seize the day. There are obstacles that we will face, but if we lean in, we work with each other, and we uplift each other, we have an opportunity to make a huge dent in this cannabis industry. And as VLG said, there's a boatload of publicly traded companies in the cannabis industry. And just like the smoke that comes from some of the plants that we're talking about when you burn them, those stocks are rising.
Yo, I wanna ask you if you smoke Tito, but I don't know if you're gonna.
What'd you say, sativa or indica? What'd you say?
Yes. Tito Jackson, I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. Do not be surprised if Asaria calls you in the next 2 days.
I love her, and I will talk to her soon. And how old is she?
She's 15 now.
Okay, I'm done. I feel very I feel my back and my knee just started to hurt. I feel old right now. So okay, give her my best. And
I've been looking for the website. Can't find a website.
We're actually it's down right now because we're redoing it.
Oh, okay.
Because we're doing some rebranding. You know, you do all your. I see your Taylor Andre stuff. I'm not pretty enough to put my face on there, so I'm just going to go ahead and put some cool designs on there. I'm not people. You may not be buying my stuff if it's just So.
Thank you, Tito. And we will, as soon as I get it, you guys will get it. I'll keep you guys posted on everything going on. in the business. If you know somebody in Mattapan, if you're in Mattapan, just go and, well, you can't go to the website. Go to the Facebook.
Yes.
Go to the Facebook
Yes.
and
Yes.
visit and let them know that this is my email address and this is, I want to know. Put me in the game, coach.
Yep. They can reach me at Tito at Verdant VERDANT -medical.com. That's my email. Yeah, we can flow from there. And we are both Facebook friends, Taylor, so we can flow from through the. I now we're feeling old now because people like are leaving Facebook and all that stuff. But yeah, I rock hard with Facebook. I'll talk at you soon.
All right.
Take care.
I am Tayla Andre, waking up with Tayla Andre. That was Tito Jackson, former city councilor Tito Jackson, former mayoral candidate Tito Jackson. And I hope you guys got some great information. There's a lot of money to be made. And so if you're able to get you like some hard money, or friends and family put some money together, all of these circles, you know, these giving circles, I'm in the fire, I'm in the water. Somebody come and get me from the earth. Like, if we had a giving circle for weed, a giving circle for, can we do that? Can we have a giving circle for weed? I'm serious. I'm waiting for people to answer. Can we please have a giving circle for weed? We gonna pay these bills because they keep on telling me I gotta pay bills. Lord have mercy. I am Tayla Andre, waking up with Tayla Andre, TaylaAndre. Dream, what is it? Dream chasing, catching all my goals. Shout out to my best friend Meek Mills. That's the homie.
Compare health insurance plans and choose the one that's right for you and your family. Open enrollment ends on January 23rd. Visit mahealthconnector.org or call 1-877-MA-ENROLL. That's 1-877-MA-ENROLL.
Are you tired of renting and need more of your own space? Are you getting stressful letters or calls from the bank? Does your home require expensive repairs and you just don't have the funds to fix them? Regardless of whether you want to buy or sell, Taylor Andre of Thumbprint Realty is here to help. From saving your home from foreclosure to walking you through the process of becoming a first-time homeowner, Taylor makes real estate easy. With your best interests at heart, knowledge of the market, and a passion for people, Taylor is dedicated and motivated to serve you.
Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Tayla Andre, and I am determined and dedicated in assisting you in all of your real estate needs. Give me a call at 617-459-0041. Again, that number is 617-459-0041. Or you can email me at TAYLA@thumbprintrealty.com.
You are now listening to Spark FM.
Hey, good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. We just had a dope ass conversation with Tito Jackson talking about weed, marijuana dispensaries, and what you can do in order to open one. And it's expensive, y'all. It's super expensive. I am demanding that the state immediately hands over the funds in order for the economic development version of, what is it called? I forgot what he called it, but shout out to Tito. I miss Tito being in the public eye, and he always kept it real. He always told the truth, and he always gave us the information that we needed in order to be the best we could be, the best us we could be. As far as news is concerned, let's jump into this news real quick. yesterday was an amazing day. Hold on. I just want to take a second because we didn't get to check in. We didn't get to say good rising, good rising. How are you today? And so yesterday I was able to get so much done, but it was like 6 o'clock and it felt like 11. Is anybody else having these problems? It's dark mad late. At 4:30, it's nighttime. And by the time you get home at 8 o'clock, you think like, I need to go to bed. And then you have like for me, I just like start waking up like it's daytime all over again. I hate insomnia, y'all. I really hate insomnia. And I I do. I miss Ambien. I miss just taking one pill and going the hell to sleep instead of freaking melatonin. I swear I don't do nothing anymore. Anymore. An IT consultant, I think this woman actually needs to be considered the dopest person on earth right now. There's a woman out of Florida who was working for the research department. And in the research department, she was getting data and setting up the online system. And while setting up the online system, they wanted her to make some false set it up so it wasn't accurate. She said that she was not doing it. She called out to her colleagues to tell the truth about the numbers. And she, she was accused of, she didn't do it, possibly. Allegedly, that's what it is. Allegedly, she broke into the Amber Alert system because she may or may not have been trying to warn us that the system is fake and do not believe what you read. So for me and mine, I think she deserves an award. She needs the Pulitzer Prize. Whatever the prize is for humanitarian, that's what she needs. She said that the governor is trying to silence her and that she is just trying to tell the truth and nobody is letting her tell the truth. Y'all don't think this is a problem? Nobody think this is an issue? Her house got raided. Raided. Do you know what you have to do in order for the police to come and raid your house? And you want to know what she did? Try to tell the truth. So I'm just interested in these comments. Nobody cares about this. This woman is locked up. Her house was raided. She was imprisoned. And the reason why she's in jail is because they wanted her to falsify documents. They fired her as a scientist for insubordination because she was like, I'm not doing this. Well, insubordination, get out of here. After she left, she urged all of her colleagues to go ahead like, yo, tell the truth. Tell the truth. I promise the truth. I promise to tell the truth. And they started investigating her once the system was hacked into, but she never sent anything. So whether or not she hacked it or not, nothing was sent. So I want y'all to prove she hacked into the system. But that's scary. Like, what if she is being silenced? Like, let's take it from, key. Let's take the key out. This woman who worked for Florida, the state of Florida, as a scientist, running the numbers, running the data, seeing these numbers, seeing the data, having them ask her to skew the data, somebody who was willing to put their job on the line, someone who was willing not to their integrity, like, I'm not doing this. She said that she refused to manipulate the data to make the numbers look better. She said she refused to manually change data to drum up support for the plan to reopen. She was fired and is currently seeking a job that is not in Florida. So any state that wants truth and accuracy, any county that wants somebody who's actually going to tell the truth. Remember when we had Annie Dukin, the scientist that went ahead and was like, yep, you got crack. Yep, that's cocaine. It's weed. Nope, we found traces of cocaine in the weed. Mm-hmm. In just a couple hours, she reached over 150,000 on her GoFundMe page. They said that the Florida department, their FBI department, began investigation on November 10th after receiving a complaint from the Department of Health regarding an unauthorized access to the Department of Health messaging system, which is part of the emergency alert system used for only emergencies. It was hacked, though, but what was sent? Nothing. And so to me, this is scary. And it's scary because when you take a look at all of the scary movies of that one person trying to tell the truth and they end up getting buried under the dirt and they don't have no family, so ain't nobody looking for them. And the rest of us are assed out, don't know nothing. Because the one person who was trying to tell us the truth, we called him crazy. That's neither here nor there. I'll leave that alone. I'm the only one who cares about that. An IT consultant launches high court legal actions to overturn England's easy divorce laws, saying his ex breached his human rights by splitting up with him because he worked too many hours and didn't go on family holidays. So I thought this was funny, and I don't know if it's because I have Asaria's point of she's rubbing off from me, and her sense of humor is odd. Like, it's not even funny, it's just awkward. And so this is the husband and this is the wife, and the wife divorced the husband because he worked too much. I don't know why I thought this was hilarious. You want to know why I thought it was hilarious? Because white folks always talk about some black people are lazy, but she want to divorce him because he was at work. Working too much is a problem, though. Can you come home? Can you come home to me? Like, sometimes, can I feel wanted? Sometimes, but he's complaining about like, oh no, that's what I found the funniest part: unreasonable behavior. That's what it was. She divorced him for unreasonable behavior, and as a black man, being called a hard worker is unreasonable. I'm sorry, that's That's Asaria coming out. So the FDA confirms that Pfizer vaccine is effective and safe as it prepares to green light the shot on Thursday here in the U.S., nearly 1 week behind the U.K. A panel of scientists from the FDA posted their first analysis of the vaccine online. The analysis will now be reviewed by a panel of independent scientists, and that will happen on Thursday. If they agree, the vaccine will finally get an official approval and be distributed across the United States on December 15th. 20 million doses are expected this year, but most won't come until next summer. It's down to the Trump administration declining an offer to buy additional doses earlier this year. And he said because they were too high. Like, he wasn't, as a businessman, he wasn't spending all that money. But where's my friend? COVID-19. So Matt Hancock broke down, and it looks like a fake breakdown. Like, it don't even look like a real cry on TV, but whatever. There's a 90-year-old grandmother that became the first person in the entire world to get approved with the COVID jab, and she was the first one in her arm. And then there was a man named William Shakespeare at 81. There was a World War II veteran, 99. He is UK's oldest vaccinated. We're up to, because remember we read the thing? We read like who can get vaccinated, or that anybody over the age of 80 is first, anybody over the age of 75, anybody with pre-existing conditions. Like, the elders are the first ones to be vaccinated. Conspiracy theorists believe it's to kill all the old people and all of the sick people already. And I don't think that's 100% incorrect. the thoughts and opinions of Tayla Andre are only reflective of Tayla Andre. An overwhelming Nevada hospital starts treating patients in a converted parking garage as COVID hospitalizations surged to 230%, and the state records hit their highest ever, and their positivity rate is 21.2. And so these numbers are absolutely crazy. And we haven't even hit like critical mass. So critical mass is basically like the peak, and we haven't even, like, we are continuously steady climbing. If this was stocks, baby, we in the money. But for this to be COVID-19, it's I keep thinking of He Is Legend. That's it. With I was gonna say Eddie Murphy, Will Smith. He Is Legend with Will Smith is so scary to me. That's all I can think about. What's the stupid question? That wasn't a stupid question. If you have questions about your friend, that was not a dumb question, and I don't think it was. So wait, the government can use emergency alert system. Why are they the only ones that can define an emergency? Oh, that's a really good question. You should actually reach out to the young lady and let her attorney know because she's currently incarcerated. They locked her ass up. This COVID thing is just like the terror alert system when the high lockdown and when it's low normality. It's usually COVID to control everything else and with scare tactics. And these VOGs comment every state that's legalized cannabis, the license become more expensive and further out of reach for minorities. Taylor Peeps funny. I guess we should have never been excluded from the game after seeing the rise and develop. Always the last at the table because we don't pay attention. You know what? It's not even really about, okay, yes, it is about paying attention, but it's also like, it's also systematic though. It's very much systematic. If you, let's say for instance, as a child, you always know when your mother comes home from the store, she has like snacks and goodies, and you go in the kitchen and you ask for snacks and goodies, and she tells you no. And you go in the kitchen and you ask for snacks and goodies, and she tells you no. And you keep going back and back and back and back, and she keeps telling you no. And then one day you just learn, like, I'm not going to keep going back for rejection. And so I think over the course of many a years and many a generations that we have faced continuous backlash in everything. That's why it's 2021 and we're still like the first executive of a white corporation. Like, we're still the first in naval. Like, how many first in the last months have I read? Oh, the first naval such and such, the first army such and such, the first president of a college, the first, like, we're still at first. There's a black woman right now who is the first grower of marijuana in a state. There is a first grandma who made edible. Like, there's first still now. And so I don't think we are that far. Tito brought up a really excellent point about, like, there was one dispensary. It made $1 billion over the course of this year. We hit the $1 billion mark with only having one open dispensary. And so I think the best idea for like entrepreneurs is like be a legal dope boy. Because if you're a legal dope boy and you do the wholesale delivery system, if you do the wholesale delivery system, you buy wholesale, you break it down, you do the same thing you do it now, but you're able to claim it on paper. You're able to claim it on paper. You can then buy a house because you have to have 2 years of something on paper, which will help you even if it's your side hustle, because you have a main gig making 40, 50,000 a year. And then you bring this additional 30,000, 60,000 of side hustle money that you already was doing by yourself. And and if you're for real, you would have like a side hustle of your side hustle and your girl make pastries. Listen, I said it, like, the Uncle Sam don't need all my coins. Like, you don't need to see all my hands. I don't see all your hands. Y'all hiding money in Department of Defense, trillions of dollars just hiding in Department of Defense. No, thank you. You show your hands, I'll show you all mine. Until then, kick rocks. So That's how I feel about the United States government, because even when you own something, you still don't own it because they could take it at any point in time. Eminent domain. But I do love being an American, though, until I find my other country. In other news, there's a lot going on in the world. I want more happy news. Can y'all send me happy news? I'm sick of reading all this craziness. One of these articles, the shocking moment, a courageous retired firefighter is killed in a shootout while fighting back against three carjackers in Chicago. So he's a retired firefighter. His name's Dwayne Williams. He was killed during an attempted carjacking. There's a CCTV footage that shows Williams exiting the shop where a car suddenly pulls up. Police have released the surveillance video in attempts to catch the men. $34,000 is being offered as a reward for information leading to the arrest. And when I tell you, when I watched this video, hold on, because I want y'all to see this. When I saw this video, I understood more than anything the importance of firearm safety and having your gun license, because this could have went mind you, he did pass away. He did succumb to his injuries. Where I don't even know where his injuries took place, because this is him, right? So he come out the store. This car pull up. These three men come out. He pull out that gun. You see that, Pat? And everybody run back to the car. This could have went completely different if he was not armed and dangerous. I don't know how or where he got shot, unless it was like at that moment when the boy came out, but it looked like he would just pulled his gun out. But this could have went completely different. I love like his form, his shooting. He saw it. He in his pocket, back. I don't know why that excited me. I just wanted to share, like, it is important for your firearm safety, for you to get your gun license. And I am still working on it. Gun safety is a healing modality. Where's Doncor? Didn't Doncor say he was coming on air? Oh, yeah, he is. He's like around Kwanzaa. That's what it is. So this is one of my favorite stories in the whole wide world. And if you know me in real life, you know why. So mankind has made contact with Alien Galactic Federation, but it has been kept secret because humanity isn't ready, said the former head of the Israeli space security program. So let's go back, right? We just had a conversation about how this woman who was only working at Florida, which is the craziest state in the world, working in Florida's State Department, working on numbers, and they came and are trying to silence her. You don't think for 5 seconds Haim Eshid, you don't think Haid Hashim is going to come up missing. I want you to remember this story. Haim, Haim, I'm probably butchering his name, Eshid, Eshed. He said, aliens are real and secretly we are in contact with America and Israel. He claimed that the Galactic Federation runs an underground Mars base within the U.S. and the 87-year-old said aliens will not come into the open until humanity evolves. He's 87 years old. Somebody gonna come out and say he's schizophrenic or he losing his mind or he don't know what he talking about. Wait for it. I'm gonna follow this story. We gonna follow this story, and one or two things is gonna happen. My dude gonna come up missing, or he gonna commit suicide, or he's gonna be in an insane asylum and they gonna shut him up. We ain't never gonna see him again. I promise to tell the truth. I gotta go pay bills. I am Tayla Andre. Waking up with Tayla Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day we link up, but about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you.
Igniting the airwaves. Spark FM.
Things may seem a little bit different now, but your health remains a priority. With the Massachusetts Health Connector, you can stay happy and healthy. Whether you're employed or have recently lost your job, you have options to stay insured. Visit mahealthconnector.org to compare health insurance plans and choose the one that's right for you and your family. Open enrollment ends on January 23rd. Visit mahealthconnector.org or call 1-877-MA-ENROLL. That's 1-877-MA-ENROLL.
Boston Art and Music Soul Fest and Berkshire Bank presents Versus or Vibes Battle.
Oh, could you guys hear me this whole time? Oh, I just muted it. Lord have mercy. I'm excited because Israel came out and told the truth. Israel said there are aliens in the Galactic Federation. You want to know what's crazy? And so I'm a subscriber to Gaia, Gaia, Gaia TV. And on Gaia TVs, there's this guy that interviews like quote unquote weirdos. Like their stories sound like straight science fiction. And so there's this one guy who talks about how when he goes to sleep, he is extracted from his body in a sense of a astral projection. Like he leaves his body and his soul goes and fights for the Galactic Federation. Yo, when I tell you, when I read that story about the Galactic Federation, like I was like, yo, and he talks like, yeah, I'm a general at for the Galactic Federation. I'm a general for the Galactic. And I was just like, yo, this dude is okay. Like just listening to the story, when you are like emerged in society, it kind of sounds a little bad. Like he's like, yo, he's not all there, is he? But when you actually remember that we do not, like, I am an ant. I am this little itty bitty thing in this whole entire universe, and there are things that are bigger than me. Not in the sense of like physical form, but like in a grander scheme of life. I am this itty bitty thing, and even smaller than an ant. I'm like a damn atom in comparison to what's going on in the entire galaxy. And so it's dope for me, and like sort of like a confirmation that what he was talking about was and had some validity, and where time doesn't exist. And he kept talking about like time doesn't exist. He was just like, if I really counted up my days on like the Galactic Federation starship, which is, I believe he said like a mile long and a mile wide, was the like battleship of the Galactic Federation, is like their base. I want to go back and watch that now. Gaia TV. So as far as like meditation is, they don't pay us. They really don't pay us, but they need to. As far as like meditation is concerned, yoga is concerned, like singing bowls, but even more into that, if you want to learn like a different, like the Dead Sea Scrolls or like Bibles or different religions. It's a plethora of everything. And I just be butchering stuff. Gaia TV. Because I want you guys to, don't take my word for it. Look it. Don't believe me, just watch type situation. Nari, mommy's on air. What do you want? All right. So, yoga, meditation, for all my yoga. Yep. And they believe in diversity. I love that. I love that they believe in diversity. Meditation series, like different shows that they have. I am a huge fan of Dr. Joe Dispenza. Dr. Joe Dispenza is a brain surgeon. Is that what he is? Hold on, I want you to listen to him. You're going to like him too. Dispenza. I don't know how to spell his name. Yes, there he is. He has like a little thing. He don't have like a little 2-minute thing. Fine. Learn how to reprogram your mind.
The results strongly.
So what's dope about him is because he is a brain doctor and he does like, he understands the brain. He's not just hogwashing
Believe
it.
in the idea that the way you think has some effect on your life. So how many people actually woke up this morning and consciously created a future? You know, the biggest reason why people don't do it is because you don't really believe it's true. You see, if you knew on a gut level that it was absolutely true, would you ever miss a day? And would you ever let any thought slip by your awareness that you didn't want to experience? So your brain, according to neuroscience, is organized to reflect everything you know in your life. Your brain is a record of your environment. It's a record, an artifact of your past. So if you believe this, then does your environment control your thinking, or does your thinking control your environment? So if you wake up in the morning and you get out of bed on the same exact side as you did the day before, you shut the alarm clock off with the same finger, you slip into your favorite slippers, you shuffle into the bathroom and you use the toilet like you always do, then you walk over to the mirror and you look at yourself to remember who you are, then you get into the shower and you wash yourself in the same routine way, then you groom yourself to look like everybody expects you to look, then you go downstairs and you drink coffee out of your favorite mug. Then you drive to work the same way as you did the day before. You see the same people that push the same emotional buttons. You do the exact thing that you know how to do and you memorize and can do so well that you're an expert at. Then you hurry up and rush home so you can hurry up and check your emails, so you could hurry up and go to bed, so you can hurry up and do it all over again. Now, here's my question. Did your brain change at all that day? We could say that you were thinking the same thoughts, performing the same actions, that create the same experiences, that produce the same emotions, but secretly expecting something to change in your life. So then, as the environment turns on different circuits in your brain, you begin to think equal to your environment. As you see the same people and go to the same places and do the same things at the same time, it's the external environment that's turning on different.
My name is Adrian. I'm 34 years old.
No. Okay, long story short, the reason why I love that, I like you guys go down rabbit holes with me. That's what I would like for you guys to continue to do.
You know. And as long as you think equal to everything that's familiar or known to you, what do you keep creating more of? Same life. Now, the quantum law is still applying to you. You're just thinking equal to everything that you know, and you keep creating more of the same. To change, to truly change, is to think greater than your environment. And every great person in history knew this, whether it was William Wallace or Mahatma Gandhi or Martin Luther King or Queen Elizabeth I or Joan of Arc. They all had a vision. They all had an idea. Couldn't see it, couldn't smell it, couldn't taste it, couldn't feel it, but it was alive in their mind.
What is alive in your mind? What is it that you're thinking? What is it that you're doing? And so many other amazing like teachers and conversations take place on, and there's multiple episodes. So I do like Open Minds with Regina Meredith, and there's 380 episodes. There's things about the Matrix, mystery teachings, about the pyramids, about Egyptians, and like there, it's not what is it, National Geographics? It's not National Geographics, because even as a kid when I was watching National Geographics, I was like, yo, something about this does not seem factual. Like, I feel like y'all are missing the facts here. And then you realize that they are showing you videos of whitewashed Egypt versus when they were actually painted black. And so for those who don't know, if you take a look at actual videos like pre-1990s of the walls of the pyramids, the people had afros and they were black. But if you take a look at them now, they look like hats and they're painted white. Don't believe me? Go do your own due diligence. But shout out to the Galactic Federation. That's my favorite story in the whole wide world. In the whole wide world. And HAIMESHED. Watch what happens to him. I hope absolutely nothing. I pray nothing. But I know what world we live in, and history tell you a different story. Trump administration is going to fully restore the Obama-era DACA program and start accepting first-time applicants immediately. So the Trump administration said on Monday that it has fully restored the Obama-era Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. The Department of Homeland Security posted on its website that it is now accepting new applicants. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled in June that Trump violated federal law in how he ended the program. DACA shields about 650,000 people from deportation and makes them eligible for work permits. And while we're in the same vein of this conversation, can you please stop sending molesters to cages with these kids? And so if you're going to cage kids, perfectly fine. If you're going to cage kids and separate them from their parents, perfectly fine. But what you're not going to do is sexually molest and abuse children or anybody else that you put in custody. Can we please make sure that that is a conversation that is being had and people are not ignorant or neglectful to, these are like federal agents, ICE agents. You get a .gov paycheck, but yet there are reports after reports after reports of children and women being raped and molested. So if you didn't know, now you know, with my whole chest. Army of biological enhanced super soldiers. China is using the gene editing to make the military stronger and more powerful. The director of national intelligence, John Radcliffe, has warned. He said that the DNA is being altered to make soldiers stronger and more powerful. And this comes after a very critical article that he wrote about China in the Wall Street Journal last week. Trump administration officials have been stepping up their anti-China rhetoric, but there's also like a video from China that was pulled off of China's website because of him saying, once Biden's in office, we get our friends back in office, we can actually like begin business deals again, and we can like we can work like we were working before Trump got in office. And so one of the things that I do want to be mindful of is for America to sit here and say that, oh my God, I can't believe China is doing gene alteration, because we've been doing gene alteration too, but instead of gene alteration in America, we've been using robotics. So we've been instilling robotics into our soldiers, and you want to sit here like, don't call the kettle pot black and you black to like, how'd it go? Don't let the podcast. Yeah, well, how I don't know. I know my mother used to say it all the time. That's what I know, and my grandma say it. Don't make the kettle caught a pot black. I don't know. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Somebody had to text me and tell me. Nobody. Oh wow. The pot and the kettle, they both black. Don't call each other out. Period. That's the new saying. But for those who don't know, I read that story like 7 years ago. Army soldiers enhancements. We'll just leave it at enhancements. 2019. Where's the one from 2017? So I found a couple articles. One on military.com. The Pentagon report predicts a rise in machine-enhanced super soldiers. By 2050, the U.S. military could have the ability to implant sophisticated machine technology into combat troops for enhancement performance capabilities, such as super eyesight, advanced brain functions for controlling unmanned drones and other weapon systems, according to a recent Defense Department study. In Cyborg Soldier 2050, the human/machine fusion and the implications for the future of the DoD, the Biotechnologies for Health and Human Performance Council study groups have surveyed several current emerging technology designs to augment human performance to present feasibility for military uses, and they have been questioning ethical, legal, and social implications of the technology. And I don't know if you guys remember Black Ink, not Black Ink, Black Mirror. So Black Mirror, all of my fears ever became became an episode in Black Mirror. So any fear that I had about this or that, I swear every single last one of them became a Black Mirror show. If you've never seen Black Mirror, it'll change your whole life. Please go watch it. Yo, the craziest one, remember the man who had sex with his best friend and they want to go into the virtual world? And his wife would go out and have sex with real people and he would go and have sex with his best friend. Yo, that was so weird. I did not know. Yo, I still don't know how to respond to that. It was. Anyways, the U.S. Army research on pharmacology enhancement of soldiers' performance, stimulants, anabolic hormones, and blood doping. And this was from 2015. And the last article, the Soldier 2.0 Military Human Enhancement and International Law. And this is I'm not pulling up websites from wiki.com. I'm pulling up websites from published since 1895 U.S. Naval War College. We pulling up facts here, not something that I'm just reading the official research journal of the National Strength and Conditioning Association. Military.com, that it has anything and everything military. All the veterans are on here. I'll leave that there. So it could be Taylor's crazy all day long, but when these unfortunate facts become mainstream, and let's go for real, if we went all the way back to the first Wake Up with Taylor Andre video and then watch them and be I predict, we're going to see 9 out of 10 of them already. In other news, Chick-fil-A sues Tyson's Foods, Purdue Farms, and Pilgrim Pride for price-fixing billions of dollars of poultry. Chick-fil-A on Friday filed a new litigation accusing 17 defendants of price-fixing. The lawsuit claims that the poultry industry colluded to keep prices of chicken high. And Target and other grocery food chains have made similar claims in the lawsuit. Chicken producers contest the claim and plan to fight it in court, and them got long money. They have so much long money that they're over here literally polluting the earth, giving people cancer, and they don't have to do anything but pay a little $100,000, $1.4 million to make the people shut up, and then they get to continue doing what they're doing all over again. That's how their lobbyist game is on a zillion. their ability to like throw money at the problem and not have to fix or clean up anything. If you watch any of the documentaries on Netflix about Purdue, about Tyson, and I know Pilgrim's Pride is always in the damn news for a recall because they always got salmonella in their stuff. Like, yo, this is why I don't even mess with meat. I almost cussed. This is why I can't fool with. And I used to love Chick-fil-A, but the French fries though. Sorry, I said we can't go there because they're homophobic. I be sneaking that honey roasted barbecue sauce when we go out of town though. Like when we go to Georgia or when we go to Alabama. It's still wrong. I'm sorry. I just thought about. She's like, Mom, you can't. Do you know who they are? Now, if they didn't support black people, would you still go? And I'm like, but I like the French fries. They cook them in peanut oil. It doesn't matter. We got to pay bills. I am Taylor Andre. Waking up with Taylor Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day we link up, but about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. We gonna pay these bills. And when we come back, we're going to wrap up the rest of the day. We're going to recap what we talked about with Tito for those who did not watch. And then we're also going to wrap up this story that I think is absolutely amazing and sad. A couple stories.
Igniting the airwaves. Spark FM.
Are you tired of renting and need more of your own space? Are you getting stressful letters or calls from the bank? Does your home require expensive repairs and you just don't have the funds to fix them? Regardless of whether you want to buy or sell, Taylor Andre of Thumbprint Realty is here to help. From saving your home from foreclosure to walking you through the process of becoming a first-time homeowner, Taylor makes real estate easy. With your best interests at heart, knowledge of the market, and a passion for people, Taylor is dedicated and motivated to serve you.
Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Taylor Andre, and I am determined and dedicated in assisting you in all of your real estate needs. Give me a call at 617-459-0041. Again, that number is 617-459-0041. Or you can email me at TAYLAANDRE@thumbprintrealty.com.
Things may seem a little bit different now, but your health remains a priority. With the Massachusetts Health Connector, you can stay happy and healthy. Whether you're employed or have recently lost your job, you have options to stay insured. Visit mahealthconnector.org to compare health insurance plans and choose the one that's right for you and your family. Open enrollment ends on January 23rd. Visit mahealthconnector.org or call 1-877-MA-ENROLL. That's 1-877-MA-ENROLL.
Yes, make sure you get health insurance. If you don't have health insurance, or you know somebody who needs health insurance, send me a message, inbox me. I'm going to connect you with the Health Connector because they are looking for some outreach. And if you need help and don't know how to navigate systems, you do have help here for you. And so with that being said, firefighters say that lack of promotions and rampant use of racial slurs embody a culture within Kansas City Fire Department. But I could have read this city and inserted any city, anywhere, everywhere. I was here reading the comments, and there's a lot of firefighters that commented on this story that was just like, listen, you could insert my town, you can insert my city, you can insert my state, you can insert and the list goes on and on and on about like the racial slurs that happened in the police department as well as the fire department. Right here in Brookline, we had an incident with the fire. Like he was like the fire chief, and they're still fighting. Those black men, those 3 black men, are still fighting the town of Brookline over that BS after 3-4 years. And so a report by the Kansas City Star found that a pattern of systematic racism has plagued the Kansas City Fire Department in Kansas City, Missouri for decades. The report was triggered following an incident last year where Benjamin Barton, a white fire cadet, in his favorite said his favorite knot was a noose and threw a rope around the neck of a black classmate and pulled it tight. I went back and sat down because I didn't want to lose my job or anything like that at that time. I was a probationary firefighter, and this was the firefighter that had the noose wrapped around his neck. He said he went inside his ass down because he wasn't trying to lose his job for beating in his ass, because that's exactly what would have happened had he not set himself down. He said, for me to take the higher road and for it to still not get the justice, I felt like it, like, to still not get the justice I felt was satisfactory to me was actually kind of heartbreaking. And I'm going to insert this on his behalf. I wish I would have just whooped his ass. Because at the end of the day, that's what he really feel like. He couldn't say it in a report because he was trying to be politically correct, but I wish I would have just whooped his ass. I would have got more satisfaction than I did as far as judiciary is concerned. They didn't give me no, that's what I wanted to talk about. And so I was on a gram earlier today, and there's this video that came out, or where did I find it? What's it called? Color America, America Black, America Citizen. Damn it, what is it? It's a new movie. America. Color America. Oh, God. Was anybody on the gram? Did anybody else see this? Oh, my gosh. And I can't even, it's like an American Color. Is it American Color? Yo, but when I tell you, so what happened, so the man got pulled over. And when he got pulled over by the police, there was police on both sides. They had flashlights in their eyes, guns already drawn. Who was in the passenger seat was his son, but he had like a big son, like a 16, 17-year-old big son. And so the son over here recording the whole situation, and that's when the officer get rowdy and he's just like, oh, put it down. He's like, officer, he's a child, he's a kid, he's a boy. No, he's just his phone. He's unarmed. He's a kid. And then all of a sudden, things get pat, and then they go off to the next scene. Like I'm I'm doing a trailer for you since I can't find it. And so it comes out of court, and it, when they be standing in front of the flags, in front of the podium, and they're like, we found no reason to prosecute the officer. That we we investigated ourselves and found we did nothing wrong. And so he was just like, nah. And then you see him over here, taking a police officer and putting the police officer in the car. They sat there, had machine guns and Uzis and everything else, and ran up in the police station and tied their ass up. People outside rioting, so the police can't get no help. Can't nobody come in and save the police. And he was just like, you remember me? You remember me? And then he went to the date and the time. He was like, that was a kid. That was a child. He was just like, I'm sorry for killing your son. And he was just like, sorry, don't bring my son back. Yo, I want to see this movie so bad. And going back to everything that I keep saying about this one attorney who was just like, yo, y'all don't have enough training. He was like, I did what I was trained to do. I did what I was trained to do. And I'm so ready for all of these attorneys, all these black attorneys that have been in school for all these years, all these babies who were affected, who had a daddy in jail, all the daddies in jail that are learning how to take on the law for themselves. I think it's absolutely beautiful and amazing when people who are incarcerated, who are wrongly convicted, come out and start changing laws, start lobbying, and start being attorneys and judges. That is the dopest thing in the world to me. And so I cannot wait for it to universally, y'all need more training. Y'all need more training. Y'all need more training. And y'all need to hit up all aces for that diversity training, because y'all over here reading books about Black Lives Matter. There's a militant group. Nope. But the sad news, you remember Natalie DeSelli Reed? She was in BAPS with Halle Berry. That's how I know she was in a lot. She was Don't Be a Player. What's the boy name? What's his name? He used to be He was on Def Comedy Jam. He was one of the hosts for a little Bill Bellamy. That's what it is. She was in a movie with How to Be a Player with Bill Bellamy. She was also in Tyler Perry's Medea's Big Happy Family. She was also in Set It Off. But I don't remember her in Set It. Who was she in Set It Off? Oh, I don't remember her in Set It Off. Because I remember Set It Off. She was one of the friends. at the party, maybe, or the boyfriend's girlfriend. I think she screamed in the when the brother got shot. I think she was the girl that screamed. I'd be too invested in dumb stuff. I'd be going down rabbit holes for no reason. We come to the top of the hour. There's more news, but I don't want y'all to be sad anymore. I don't. There was a black baby doll with braided hair described as colored dirty braid fashion, and it was on Amazon. That's what it was called. Concerning, isn't it? And you don't believe me, I'm gonna show you. That's what I'm doing. Look at this. For those that are watching. Dolly yearning 14-inch adorable black doll with casual red skirt and colored dirty braid fashion. Gorgeous doll. Like, I'm confused. Is she ugly or is she gorgeous? Is she dirty or is she adorable? And he pulled it. Instead of just like changing the description, you pulled the whole thing. Amazon, let's talk. Let's talk about diversity, Amazon. TaylaAndre, everything Tayla Andre. Since we have a minute, let's go to the website real quick. Hey. I'm going to go ahead and update the pictures. I haven't updated pictures in so long. Y'all see Tayla? Hey, Tayla. TaylaAndre. Make sure you join the mailing list, politics, news, interviews, and merchandise. Everything you need to know about Tayla Andre, learn more here. If you want to learn about the book, Finally Home, the step-by-step guide, get your copy today. This book is exactly what it states. For new homeowners, it truly lays out all the steps necessary to successfully qualify in purchasing your new home. From how to raise your credit score by removing bad marks on your credit report to different types of loans and how your credit score affects your monthly payments and overall payment of the loan. It gives you the boilerplate letters to send all of to the reporting agencies worth the purchase. Shout out to S. Jackson. Tayla breaks down in layman's terms and gives the fundamental on home buying. It's not such a daunting task as much as a mental obstacle to overcome. Very good read and easy to digest. Last but not least, Tayla gives very honest and valuable information. After reaching out, she quickly responded and provided me with much needed information and information about her book. Reading Finally Home made me confident that I will have a successful home buying journey for my first home. Shout out, shout out, shout out, shout out. And as far as Tayla Andre merchandise, you can go ahead and get your hoodies embroidered. Ride my root chakra, suck my sacral chakra, awakening your third eye, soul naked, or ride this. Ow. I am Tayla Andre. I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you have an amazing day. Tomorrow, I am super excited. We have Rachel Rollins in the building. I love Rachel. She's a beast. I love the way she, like, everything about her is so dope. And so we are definitely going to have a interesting conversation with our district attorney for Suffolk County. And so make sure you tune in, tell a friend to tell a friend, keep it locked, and we will see you tomorrow. Mwah.
Are you tired of renting and need more of your own space? Are you getting stressful letters or calls from the bank? Does your home require expensive repairs and you just don't have the funds to fix them? Regardless of whether you want to buy or sell, Tayla Andre of Thumbprint Realty is here to help. From saving your home from foreclosure to walking you through the process of becoming a first-time homeowner, Tayla makes real estate easy. With your best interests at heart, knowledge of the market, and a passion for people, Tayla is dedicated and motivated to serve you.
Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Tayla Andre, and I am determined and dedicated in assisting you in all of your real estate needs. Give me a call at 617-459-0041. Again, that number is 617-459-0041. Or you can email me at TAYLA ANDRE at thumbprintrealty.com.
Things may seem a little bit different now, but your health remains a priority. With the Massachusetts Health Connector, you can stay happy and healthy. Whether you're employed or have recently lost your job, you have options to stay insured. Visit mahealthconnector.org to compare health insurance plans and choose the one that's right for you and your family. Open enrollment ends on January 23rd. Visit mahealthconnector.org or call 1-877-MA-ENROLL. That's 1-877-MA-ENROLL.